Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Ken Dog. Welcome back to the next video. Today we have NFL prospect Jake Witt here.
Yeah, hey, how you doing? Glad I'm on the show. Thanks for having me.
Nice having you. But yeah, why did you want to become an NFL prospect? It's like not everyone become an NFL prospect.
Yeah. I think, I played high school football. I played a little bit of high school football. I loved the sport. My first year of college, I played basketball at Michigan Tech. And then from there, I transferred to Northern, played football for 3.5 years. And, I just fell in love with the sport again. And that drove me, to want to do this. And, thankfully I had some looks from the next level. And that kind of, spurred my decision to declare for the draft.
If you had to pick one reason why decided to leave basketball become football, is it because you want to love the game again or not?
Yeah, I think I chose basketball right out of high school because I loved basketball a lot. I'd played it for a lot longer than football. And then when I transferred to Northern, I wanted to get back into something competitive. And, I loved the game of football. That love never left me from when I played it in high school. And I got the competitive fire back and, I tried out for the team and made it. And here I am.
And then how is the process going? Because it's a long process. Because I never went through this process, but I've been seeing it's a long process. You go from like pro days, tryouts, interviews, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it's a lengthy process. We finished our season of football here back in November. So December is when I chose my agent that I'm working with. He's from downstate near Grand Rapids. January, I went down to Tennessee for a bit of training. Came back up to Marquette.
Ugh.
I was doing interviews and all that stuff the entire time. My pro day was mid March, so that's just like the combine. Went there and worked out in front of scouts. That went well. That after the pro day, I kind of talked to almost every team. 31 out of the 32 teams I've now interviewed with, and it's just a waiting game now. Just waiting till this weekend to see where I end up.
Mm-hmm. And like, wasn't that Central? I saw that.
Yeah, yep. The pro day was at Central Michigan. Yep.
What's and like, how was it feeling like playing at Northern? Because Northern Tech's a big rival, and like, why you came from Tech to Northern's like, wouldn't you play at Tech to play football?
Yeah, the reason I transferred from Tech was actually because Michigan Tech didn't have the academic program that I wanted to study. So I went to Tech. I got introduced to a bunch of strength and conditioning coaches, and I realized like, hey, I want to study that. I want to be a strength coach, and Michigan Tech didn't have the program I wanted to study to get to that career. So Northern did, and that's what spurred my decision to transfer there was just because they had a program in exercise science, which is what I graduated with.
Ah, nice. Like, this is like very surreal. Is like this Saturday or Friday or even Thursday might be undrafted. Like, not very Upers, just like me, get drafted in the NFL.
I know, yeah, I'm super proud to be a Uper, and I'm gonna represent the UP at the next level, and it's gonna be exciting to see what happens. I mean, the Upper Peninsula is a special, awesome place,
Yes,
and
sir.
yeah, the community, everybody like you guys from the Copper Country, people from the Eastern End, people here from Marquette, people from my county, Ontonagon. Everybody comes together to support people, and that's what makes it so special.
And like, I can't believe it's like there's not very. I can only count like 5 or 6 players that played in the NFL that's from the UP or like went to the UP schools.
Yeah. I'm thinking I can also, yeah, it's been probably about five ish, and I think there's only been one other drafted player, and that was back in the '80s. So I'm trying to be that second drafted player
Mm-hmm.
ever.
Steve Mariucci was a coach in the NFL. Like,
Yeah, no, he's a legend. He's a legendary guy, and I got to talk to Steve Mariucci a little bit, which was awesome. And he had mentioned me on one of his interviews as well, which is super cool to see. But yeah, obviously, he's a Uper born Iron Mountain guy, and he's a legend up there, and it was awesome to see him, kind of
mm-hmm.
recognize me.
What else is like? What's the next process like? Is it just waiting game now?
Yep. Just waiting. I've continued to do some phone interviews with a couple teams as they're finalizing their draft boards, and then just waiting till the draft this weekend, see where I get selected, what team I end up with, and then they bring you out to their team's mini camp. So say I end up, at a team out west. They bring me out west for their mini camp, and that's the beginning of May, beginning to mid of May, and then I'm out there for 7 weeks. Just training, getting acclimated.
Hmm.
Then I come back to the UP for 5 weeks, and then I ship back out. I'm there for the rest of the season.
If you had to pick, like, you might not answer this, but if a team is, what team would you like to play for, and what team would you want to play for? Like,
Yeah. That's a tough one. I'd obviously be grateful to play for any team that gave me the opportunity. Any team that believed in me and took me. And there's a several teams that would be special to play for. I mean, obviously, me growing up a Packers fan, that would be super cool.
hmm.
Uh, and even playing for any of the local teams, any of the NFC North teams would be awesome. People from the UP could come watch. But really, there's not a single team that I wouldn't want to play for, right? I mean, any opportunity that
If I get the
came
phone
up,
call, if I get the
yeah.
phone calls like, ooh, and the New York phone calls like, I might be going to New York, or like,
hmm Yeah, exactly. I never know. I never know where I'm going to end up. So the next week will be exciting. See where that takes me, and it'll be a fun one.
I bet you have a big old draft party having happening this weekend.
I do. Yep, we're gonna be downstate. Actually, we're gonna be in Midland, down there where a bunch of my family's from, and we'll be just hanging out with a bunch of family and friends.
Watching Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and waiting till the call.
Yep. I'm projected to go in Saturday's draft day, so that's the day of the party. But I'll be watching the other days for sure. In case something
You
happens.
never know.
You never know. Yep.
You never know when the phone call will come in.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. You never know.
If you had, if any NFL scout is listening to this, what would you tell them about yourself?
Yeah. What I would tell them is, I'm a humble guy. I grew up in the Upper Peninsula where everybody works hard. There's just work ethic and grit built into the Upers. The Upper Peninsula communities, and that's something I carried with me through my entire athletic career. I'm a hard worker. I'm a humble guy. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be a great teammate in the locker room, and I'm going to try to get myself and the team better. In any way I can every single day.
And like, it's gonna be a fun process. I can't wait to see what happens.
Oh, I know. I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens here in the next week.
And it's like, is there anyone that you like look up to? Like, is there any NFL player right now that you look up to,
Yeah,
past or present?
yeah, okay. My favorite player all time was being a Packers fan. It wasn't actually a Packer. It was Calvin Johnson for the Lions. He's my favorite player. Him, J.J. Watt were two guys I was big fans of. And then in today's game, I watched the Eagles right tackle a lot, Lane Johnson. He plays the same position as me. He's a very good player, and he's a similar height to me and similar athletic profile. So he's a guy I kind of watch and try to mold my game to some of the things he does.
Yep. Would that be funny if you get drafted by the Eagles
That'd be crazy. Yeah, that'd be crazy. It'd be awesome to learn. Awesome to learn from Lane Johnson.
and like maybe be the next Lane Johnson out there?
Yeah. He'll probably end up retiring here in a few years, whenever he chooses to, and just to be able to be behind him and learning from him, and then hopefully having an opportunity to just start eventually would be awesome.
You will not mind if you do get undrafted. Like, who would you think, like, if you get undrafted? It's like how that process would go.
Yeah, so if you don't get selected in the draft, you go undrafted, and then almost immediately after the draft ends, teams that want you on their team will reach out. They'll say, hey, we want to offer you a contract. So I'll probably have a couple teams on the table. If that happens, if I don't get drafted, I'll have a couple teams on the table. I'll end up, speaking with my agent and seeing which team is the best fit, the best opportunity, and then signing with them.
When would you figure out your decision?
I'd probably make that decision on Saturday. Actually, it'd be pretty quick after the draft. I'd make that decision, and then that way
Especially
we
when
could.
the Mr. Relevant comes out.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, basically right after that.
It's like I'm excited to see what happens. It's like I want you to go get drafted by any teams. Like it'll be nice to be a undrafted player.
Yeah, yeah. There's pros and cons to both. Obviously, you get drafted, it's super cool. You're a drafted NFL player. That's an awesome thing. But if you go undrafted, I mean, there's benefits to that too. You have the ability to choose from a number of teams. Maybe you want one team more than the other, and you'll have that choice if you go undrafted.
Is there any coach you like? If it's like a coach that you want to work with, it's like what coach would you like to work with in the NFL?
Yeah, there's a bunch. Obviously, tons of great coaches in the NFL. A couple I've worked with that I really liked. I like Tony Sperano. He's the Colts offensive line coach. I was a big fan of Bill Callahan. He was the Browns offensive line coach. Jeff Stoutland. He was the Eagles offensive line coach. There's just that's just naming a few. And they're every single coach in the NFL is amazing. I mean, obviously, if they're coaching at that level, they're the best at their craft, and so just getting to work with any of them would be awesome. But those are just a number of guys that I've worked with that I was super impressed with.
And like, if you had to be backup, would it be nice to be backup to an NFL Hall of Famers? Like, if you get to help him out, not to get sacked, you know?
Yeah, no, it would be very cool just to play with NFL Hall of Famer. I mean, obviously learning from them from a perspective of being an NFL player, but also being able to help them succeed would be awesome.
If you had to say one thing about this process is how crazy is it?
Extremely crazy. I mean, extremely crazy. It's been a lot busier than I expected it to be, and but a lot more exciting. Obviously there are nerves and anxiety mixed in, but it's just been a crazy process, and it's been a whirlwind. But it's something that I've been trying to take everything in. Enjoy the moments that I can, and it's a once in a lifetime experience, and I'm just trying to take it day by day.
I'm excited for this. It's like watching a person that's from the UP playing the NFL.
Oh heck yeah, no, I'll look back at this interview, and I'll appreciate you getting me. You were there before I was in the NFL, right? So I
Yep.
appreciate you believing, right?
Yeah, I saw you playing at the big basketball game, Dollar Bay versus Ewan.
Oh yeah, that was a fun game. Heck, I think back to that game and could imagine how. I mean, we packed that stadium full just for Class D teams playing. In the
Mm-hmm.
Upper Peninsula.
But yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, thank you for having on today because I think you have to go to your next interview.
Yeah, in a little bit I do, but hey, I appreciate you having me on here, Kenny. I mean, it means a lot that you wanted to interview me, and I appreciate you kind of telling the story for me a bit.
And also subscribe to Ken Dog Sports, right?
Heck yeah, subscribe to Ken Dog Sports.
But yeah, thank you for watching this interview with Jake Witt. But yeah, also I it's like I always stumble. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'm on my way to 500 now, and maybe I'll get 500 subscribers because of this interview.
Heck yeah,
But
let's
yeah,
go for it.
thank you for watching. Go Packers, go Lakers, go Tigers, go Red Wings, go Pistons, and go Tigers. Thank you for watching. Better peace.